Well, we're really excited. We'd like to welcome everyone here today to our first BYU Business Boot Camp for 2026. We're sorry about the change of date. There was a family emergency, so we had to change for today's date, but we really appreciate all of you coming. As this is a BYU Management Society event, which is together with the BYU Management Society One Asia and with the North Luzon chapter, correct? And Catherine is our president, and we'd like to thank her for all the organization that she's done, and also thank our speaker today who's agreed to speak. A lot of time, so if you don't mind, Catherine, I'll turn the meeting over to you to maybe introduce our speaker today, a little bit about what BYU Management Society does for the Asia area. We have three main focuses, which is personal development, professional development, and moral and ethical leadership. And so this is one reason why we do these business boot camps, because we really believe in personal development and professional development. And so today, this is a bit about professional development. As Chet said in his prayer, how can we all become more self-reliant? So, Jane, we really thank you today for your preparation and for speaking. And Catherine, would you like to give a brief introduction to Jane and then turn it over to her?
Pleasure. So just let me read a brief introduction of her. If some of you have missed it in your email, so I'm just going to reread it over to you here to introduce our very generous speaker for tonight. So Sister Donna Jane Cariaga is a virtual bookkeeper serving US-based clients, specializing in helping small businesses streamline their financial systems and gain clarity through accurate and strategic bookkeeping. With hands-on experience working remotely with international clients, she empowers aspiring bookkeepers to build sustainable, profitable careers in the global market. She is passionate about transforming bookkeeping from a back office task into a high value professional service. So let's all welcome our guest speaker and our resource person for tonight, Sister Donna Jane Cariaga.
Thank you, Kat. Hi, everyone. Good day, everyone. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining this discussion today. Let me share my screen. I prepared a presentation. Okay. Yeah, so I'm very happy to see participants from different places who are interested in learning about virtual bookkeeping. So before we begin, I want to ask a quick question. Who among you are interested in building a work from home career or online income? You can type yes in the chat if you want. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yes here. Thank you. Thank you for your responses. Now, another question. Who among you are completely new to bookkeeping or accounting? Yeah, you can type maybe a beginner in the chat. Yeah. So like you are new, you don't have any idea or experience or knowledge about bookkeeping or accounting yet. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot as well. So a lot of beginner. Perfect. So that's exactly who this session is for. So beginners and aspiring bookkeepers who want to explore this opportunity. So before we continue, I just want to set expectations for today's session. So this discussion is more like an introduction to how you can build a profitable virtual bookkeeping career. We will not go deep into basic accounting concepts, and we will not discuss specific accounting software in detail because we use a lot of softwares. We use different accounting softwares in virtual bookkeeping. So we will not go deep into those. The reason is simple. I don't want to overwhelm you with too much information in just one session. There is actually a lot to learn in bookkeeping, and it can feel overwhelming at the beginning. But the good news is You don't need to learn everything at once. You just need to take it step by step. So today, our focus is to help you understand what virtual bookkeeping is, why it is a good opportunity, and how you can start building a career in this field. So think of this session as your starting point, something that will guide you on where to begin and what direction to take. Yeah. So um, before we begin the discussion, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Jane Cariaga. I work as a bookkeeper and auditor for almost 7 years now. Like many people, I was also looking for a way to build a stable income while having more flexibility in my work. During that time, I discovered online or virtual bookkeeping and realized that many businesses struggle with organizing their financial records, especially foreign foreign small businesses. At first, bookkeeping felt intimidating, especially that we are talking to foreign clients. I wondered if I knew enough or if I was qualified to help businesses manage their finances virtually. But I eventually realized something important. Bookkeeping is not just about numbers. It is about helping business owners understand their business better, even we are doing it online or virtual. So I started learning step by step. I practiced organizing financial data, understanding basic accounting tasks in accounting softwares like QuickBooks Online, Zero. Those are different accounting softwares. And of course, improving my skills. And what I discovered is that bookkeeping is actually one of the most practical and valuable skills in the business world. Every business needs it, right? Do you agree? And that is why today I want to share how building a virtual bookkeeping career can become a profitable and sustainable path and eventually even lead to building your own bookkeeping business. So over the years, I have had the opportunity to work with businesses, but my journey did not start here. Like many beginners like you, I also started with very limited resources, and that's something I really, really like to share with you. So these are the lessons I learned from my journey. First is you don't need perfect resources to start. Consistency is more important than confidence. Learning can start with free resources. You don't need to buy or you don't need to enroll to an expensive courses or whatever other resources you have. You can start learning through YouTube or yeah, there are a lot of free resources. Your first client will change your perspective and small beginnings can lead to bigger opportunities. One thing I realized for my journey is this. You don't need perfect resources to begin. You don't need the best laptop, the fastest internet, or complete knowledge at the beginning. What matters more is your willingness to learn and your persistence to keep trying. Sometimes the only difference between people who succeed and those who don't is simply that they kept going. Even after discouragements, even after failure for on the interview or yeah, and that is why I always like to remind beginners of this. If you are just starting today, that is completely okay. Every professional virtual bookkeeper started as a beginner. Even me, I started as a beginner. And this question, why virtual bookkeeping is a great opportunity? So earlier, I shared a little about how I started my journey in virtual bookkeeping. When I first explored this field, I realized that behind every business, whether it is a small online shop, a service company, or even a growing startup, there is always a need to track and organize financial information. Every business, every business company they need to understand a few basic things about their finances, like how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, whether the business is making a profit, and whether the business is growing or struggling. So without proper financial records, it becomes very difficult for business owners to make good decisions. But something interesting, many small businesses actually cannot afford to hire a full-time accountant because for example, in US, they cost like $20 per hour to hire a full-time accountant. So instead of hiring, um, they hire virtual bookkeepers who help them organize and manage their financial records remotely. So virtual bookkeepers nowadays, they start at $5 per hour up to 15 or 20, like 10 to 15 or $20 per hour. So it depends on the company. It depends on the bookkeeper of how much how much experience she has, or yeah, it depends on the experience and the knowledge on how to help the company. So because of technology and cloud-based tools today, bookkeepers can now work with clients from different cities or even different countries. And this is exactly why virtual bookkeeping has become a growing career opportunity around the world. Um, so from my experience in this field, I realized that there are three major reasons why virtual bookkeeping has become such a strong opportunity. First is flexible work setup. One reason many people are attracted to virtual bookkeeping is flexibility. Because the work is done online, many bookkeepers are able to work from home and manage their own schedule. Some bookkeepers even work with international clients, US clients, Australian clients, and other different countries, which means they can earn income from businesses located in other countries. Another reason is stability, stable demand. No matter what type of business it is, retail, service businesses, online stores, consulting companies, bookkeeping firm, every business needs to keep track of their financial records. As long as businesses exist, there will always be a demand for bookkeeping. The third is income growth or scalable income. Unlike many traditional jobs where income is fixed, bookkeeping income can grow as you gain experience and more clients. Many bookkeepers start with just one client, then gradually build their client over time. So, and that is why virtual bookkeeping is not just a skill, it is a practical opportunity that can grow into a long term career or even a business. So, later on, I will discuss why it will become a business. So, now that we understand why this field is growing and why it offers so many opportunities, the next question is, what does a virtual bookkeeper actually do? Let's talk about it next. So many people imagine bookkeeping as something very complicated, right? Do you agree? Is it something complicated or difficult? But in reality, bookkeeping is mainly about organization and accuracy. Typical tasks of a virtual bookkeeper are this. First is recording income and expenses, tracking business transactions, categorizing expenses properly, organizing financial documents, reconciling bank accounts, preparing simple financial reports, which are you can also use this if you have a business. So let me explain it in a very simple way. Um, Whenever a business earns money from a customer, that is recorded as income. Whenever the business spends money, for example, on rent, supplies, utilities, or salaries, that is recorded as expenses. So the bookkeeper organizes these transactions so the business owner can clearly understand the financial situation of their business. In simple terms, bookkeeping is about organizing the financial story of a business. And because bookkeeping is mainly about organization and accuracy, the next question is, what skills does someone need to become a virtual bookkeeper? Do I have those skills? So let's talk about that. Skills needed to become a virtual bookkeeper. Some beginners also worry about this question. Like, do I need to be do I need to be very good at math? Because it's bookkeeping. It's all about numbers. It's all about math. Do I need to be very good at math to become a bookkeeper? The good news is the answer is no. Because most modern bookkeeping systems already calculate numbers automatically. You don't need to do the bookkeeping manually. Like if you were hired by a company in the US, they use QuickBooks Online and bookkeeping numbers. They calculate it. It calculates the numbers automatically. You just need to input. It's more on data entry. As long as you have the information, you have the data, you can do the job. So the most important skills are actually not advanced math skills. Instead, the most important skills are attention to detail. Yeah, attention to detail, organization skills, basic understanding of accounting concepts, basic spreadsheet skills, communication skills. Because you will be talking to clients. Like you need to be you need to have a communication skills. You need to understand and you need to explain the reports. So one of the most important qualities of a bookkeeper is reliability and trustworthiness because business owners trust bookkeepers with very important financial information. So now that we understand the skills needed to become a virtual bookkeeper, the next question becomes what tools do virtual bookkeepers actually use in their work? So these are the tools and systems used in virtual bookkeeping. Um, and this is why virtual bookkeeping has become possible today. It's because of modern technology and cloud-based tools. These tools allow bookkeepers and business owners to work together even if they are in different locations. So let me introduce some of the common tools used by virtual bookkeepers. First is spreadsheet tools. So I know you are familiar with the spreadsheets like Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets. These are very helpful for organizing financial data and also creating trackers or reviewing financial information. Even today, spreadsheets remain one of the most important tools for bookkeepers. Second is accounting software. Most commonly used accounting software is QuickBooks Online. So in the US, it is one of the most commonly used accounting software, the QuickBooks Online. Many businesses use cloud-based accounting systems or accounting softwares that help automate bookkeeping tasks. Some of the most common examples are like Xero for Australian clients. Most of the Australian clients use Xero. And in the US, it's QuickBooks Online. These systems allow bookkeepers to record transactions, categorize expenses, reconcile bank accounts and credit card accounts, and generate financial reports. Because they are cloud-based, both the business owner and the bookkeeper can access the records online. Third is document and file storage systems. Bookkeepers also use cloud storage tools to organize financial documents, such as receipts and invoices. Examples, Google Drive also Dropbox and OneDrive. So these systems help keep documents and organized and easily accessible. Fourth is communications tools. Because virtual bookkeepers work remotely, communication with clients is very important. Some common communication tools are email, um, Zoom, and also messaging platforms like Slack or WhatsApp. These tools help bookkeepers communicate with business owners, ask questions, and provide updates. Then finally is workflow and task management tools. So some bookkeepers use simple project management systems to track task and client work. Examples, Trello, if you're familiar, Asana, Notion. So these tools help bookkeepers stay organized, especially when working with multiple clients. The good news is that beginners do not need to master all of these tools immediately. Most virtual bookkeepers start with just a few basic tools and gradually learn more systems as they gain experience. The most important thing is to understand the process of organizing financial records. That's the most important thing. You need to understand, you need to learn the process of organizing financial records. Once you understand the process, learning the tools becomes much easier. So now that we understand the skills and tools used in bookkeeping, the next question is, how can someone actually start building a virtual bookkeeping career? Like at first, I thought like it's a scam or it's not, yeah, it's not legit at all. But let me walk you through a simple step-by-step path. It's really a job, it's really a professional career. So at this point, I'm curious. Um, what is your biggest concern about starting a bookkeeping career? Yeah, you can also type your answer in the chat. Maybe it is maybe lack of experience, fear of accounting, finding clients. Are you afraid of that? Like learning the tools? Yeah, feel free to share. Yeah, finding first clients, communication, lack of experience. Okay, yeah. I saw your answers. Thank you. Thank you for your responses. Um, so let me now share a simple step-by-step path for beginners who want to enter this field. Step one is to learn the basic accounting concepts. You need to understand simple ideas or simple terms like what are assets? What are liabilities? What is income? What is expense? What are the different type of expenses? What is profit? So those are simple ideas or simple terms in accounting and bookkeeping that you need to understand. You don't need advanced accounting knowledge in the beginning. Step two is practice using spreadsheets. You can start by creating simple trackers such as expense trackers or sales trackers, monthly summaries. And I think you can also, I mean, there's a lot of free resources online. You can search in Google different trackers or different spreadsheets. Step three is to learn bookkeeping software, which is the most important because most of the international clients, they use bookkeeping software or accounting software. If you want to become a virtual bookkeeper, you need to learn bookkeeping software. Many businesses use accounting software, and I already mentioned some of those, which are QuickBooks, Xero, and these tools make bookkeeping much more efficient. So step 4 is build a small portfolio. Even bookkeepers or like aspiring bookkeepers or beginners, even beginners can create sample bookkeeping work, such as sample expense records, sample financial reports, sample reconciliations. Yeah, you can create a sample bookkeeping work as part of your portfolio. And then step 5 is start looking for clients. Many bookkeepers find their first clients through referrals. Let let's say for example, I I have clients, and then if clients ask for referrals, then I refer my friends or my network. So freelancing platforms, you can also use freelancing platforms like onlinejobs.com, Upwork. You can also use Upwork, LinkedIn, or business communities in Facebook. You can join different business communities in Facebook. And let me share that. So now here is something very important that many beginners don't realize. Virtual bookkeeping does not have to remain just a freelance job. It can eventually grow into your own business. Like in the beginning, most people start with just one or two clients. Then, as they gain experience, they may start working with more businesses. As you become more efficient, you can manage several clients at the same time. And this is what I mentioned earlier. You can build a business in this field. Once you get enough information, once you get the experience and the knowledge of how to do the bookkeeping work, you can get more clients, and then you can build a bookkeeping service business, because like you can hire your friends as bookkeepers, or yeah, so some bookkeepers eventually create systems, process, and even hire assistants or junior bookkeepers. At that stage, what started as a freelance skill begins to look like a bookkeeping service business. So bookkeeping can actually become a pathway toward entrepreneurship and self-reliance. It's not just about um, getting your own income. You can also help others by giving them work. Once you get clients, you can help them start their own journey as well. So, and that's what I do. You can show, so this one, like it's showing in my screen the path of becoming a business owner if you are a virtual bookkeeper. So stage 1 is learning. Learn the basic accounting plus tools like accounting softwares, QuickBooks Online, or Zero. Second stage is to become a virtual bookkeeper. So once you get the basic accounting knowledge and the tools, you know how to use the tools, you will become a virtual bookkeeper for 1 to 3 clients. Your goal is 1 to 3 clients. Third stage, as you gain more experience, you will work for 4 to 8 clients plus higher income as a professional virtual bookkeeper. Stage 4 is once you establish systems, your team, and also multiple clients, you can have your bookkeeping business. Yeah, so this line below the slide, bookkeeping is not just a freelancing skill. This is very powerful. Bookkeeping is not just a freelance skill. It can become a professional service business. But we need to start small, right? You need to learn the basics first before before you can build your own business. So I also like to share some common mistakes that beginners often make when starting a virtual bookkeeping career. I'm sharing this not to discourage you, but to help you avoid the struggles that many beginners experience in the beginning. First is waiting until everything is perfect before starting. One common mistake is waiting until everything feels perfect before starting. Many beginners think they need to know everything about like accounting or bookkeeping or QuickBooks Online or all the tools, all the processes before they apply for a job or accept a client. But the truth is, very few people feel completely ready when they start. Confidence doesn't come before starting. It usually comes after you start practicing and gaining experience. It's really true based on my experience. Like most professionals today learned many things while they were already working with clients. So instead of waiting for perfection, it's better to start learning, start practicing, and improve along the way. Second is underpricing because of lack of confidence. So I mentioned earlier how much the virtual bookkeepers charge. Sometimes clients, like they give the price, they give the salary rate, but sometimes they also ask how much we charge. So, and it's another common mistake. We are charging too little because of lack of confidence. Many beginners think, since I'm new, maybe I should charge very low so clients will hire me. While it's understandable to start at a beginner friendly rate, pricing too low can also create problems. Sometimes clients may not take the work seriously if the price is extremely low. It can also make you um, feel undervalued or burned out later. It's important to recognize that bookkeeping provides real value to businesses. You are helping business owners. You are helping them understand their finances, stay organized, and make better decisions. So you should be proud of yourself. Third is accepting too many clients too quickly. This is another mistake beginners sometimes make. It's accepting too many clients too quickly because they want to gain more income right away. But at the beginning, it's exciting when opportunities start coming in, right? When, oh, there's a lot of clients. I have a lot of income. But if you accept too many clients before you build your systems and confidence, you may start feeling overwhelmed or stressed. Bookkeeping requires attention to detail and rushing through tasks because you have too many clients, it can lead sometimes to mistakes. It can lead to mistakes. It's much better to start with one or two clients. Learn the process, improve your workflow, and then gradually add more clients as you become more comfortable. Fourth is comparing yourself too much to others. Another mistake beginners sometimes experience is comparing themselves too much with others. You might see other bookkeepers online who already have many clients or higher income, and it can sometimes feel discouraging. But it's important to remember that everyone started at a different point and at a different time. Your focus should be on your own progress and your own learning journey because you will also get there. You just need to start, you just need to do the correct process. The fifth is trying to learn everything at once. One more common mistake is trying to learn. too many things all at the same time. These are like there are many tools, systems, and topics in bookkeeping. And it can feel overwhelming if you try to master everything immediately. So instead, focus on learning step by step. Start with the basic concepts, practice using simple tools, and gradually expand your knowledge as you gain experience. So, out of the mistakes I mentioned, which one do you think um, beginners like you experience the most? Yeah, you can type your answer again in the chat. One, okay. One, I see answer two, one, all of it. Two, okay, five. So it looks like waiting until everything is perfect before starting. I agree. But you need to take the risk. You need to take the risk of um, failure, sometimes rejection. I experienced a lot of interviews before I get my first client, before I got my first client. I had a lot of interviews. I had a lot of rejection before I got my first client. And then I realized you don't need to wait. You don't need to be perfect before you start. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your responses. So, like, as we wrap up today, I want you to visualize your path. Um, you may start as a virtual bookkeeper, or you may start as a beginner, learning the basics, practicing with spreadsheets and tools. Like, experience is the key. Clients hire bookkeepers not because you have the diploma in accounting, not because you have the certificate or you are, yeah, like you have awards during your school days. No, they don't hire because of that. They hire because of experience, like what you put on the table, like what you can give to the company. That's why they hire. So you need to remember experience. You need to get experience if you want to get more clients. So you need to start practicing, learn the basics. You can use different free tools like spreadsheets. You can also use QuickBooks Online for free. Well, that's a different topic. I don't want to overwhelm you because there's a lot of things to discuss in virtual bookkeeping. And then you grow into a virtual bookkeeper with your first client. So your first is beginner bookkeeper learning. And then second is you grow into a virtual bookkeeper with your first client. And then a professional handling more clients efficiently. And then eventually you can create your own bookkeeping business, like building systems, scaling your income, or maybe even hiring a team. Like a lot of my friends, um, they work, like I have clients and then they work for those clients. They help with some basic tasks. So the key takeaway is this. You don't need to start perfectly. Start small, practice, learn from experience, and gradually grow. Bookkeeping can be not only a skill that earns you income, but a career and a business you build for yourself. So I think that's all. If you have any questions, I think we still have time for question and answer.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Uh, I
go ahead.
probably have more education in accounting than most people here. So I have a bachelor's degree in accounting and I have a
Mm-hmm.
master's degree in accounting from BYU in Provo, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with Anita with the Management Society.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I really like about your presentation, it is simple. And what people don't know is a person might be very good at doing their business, like maybe they're a consultant, but they don't want to get involved in all the details of keeping the
Yes.
records and so on.
Yes.
So my first question for you, and I'm going to make an assumption that most of the people on this Zoom meeting today are from the Philippines. So I live in Provo, Utah. Uh, if I lived in the Philippines, would it be better if I started by getting my first few clients from small businesses in the Philippines? Or would it be better if I went to a country that had an economy that was more developed, like Australia or the United States?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think I ought to go first? Because my sense is business practices are a little bit different from country to country. So that's my
Mm-hmm.
question.
Yeah. So if I would answer that, I prefer that you start doing with the US or Australia. But I think it's also it also depends on your like expertise. But yeah, my answer is to start with a more developed country like United States because they use like for example in the Philippines, some of the businesses they don't use QuickBooks Online. Like most of us use like spreadsheets or something. But in the United States or Australia, most of the business owners, they use automated accounting software. So there's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of, yeah, if you would choose those countries, there's more opportunity for to a more developed country. Yeah.
And so one other question. You are probably, if we're looking at the slide on your screen right now, you're probably a bookkeeping business owner. That you probably provide lots of different services. How many people do you have working for you, either part-time or full-time?
So for each client, like one or two bookkeepers, it depends on on the task. So like it depends on the company and the task that they will give you. So if it has more tasks, then we need more people to do the job. Yeah.
And so
So
you have for bigger companies or bigger clients, you have a team of people that services that client.
correct. Yes.
And so can you give us an approximation of how many people you have working for you, just to give people an idea what the possibilities
Mm-hmm.
are?
So yeah. So right now, let's say I have one bookkeeper for each client. If you have five clients, you can have five junior bookkeepers helping you. And then you will do the advanced task, like you will do the review, then the junior bookkeepers will do the basic task, like data entry. And then you as the professional bookkeeper, you will do the deeper task of that role.
Very
Yeah.
good. Thank you for answering my questions.
You're welcome. Thank you, Chet. And do you have any other questions?
I have a
Is
question.
there? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Kat.
Yeah. So you mentioned about the two most popular accounting tools, accounting software, the Zero
Yes,
and QuickBooks. Is
correct.
there any, so if we need certification, where do we go to for even a paid one or a free one? So what's your recommendation? Should we get the paid one or for the free one? Because if it's just YouTube, it's It's not
Yeah.
organized.
Yeah.
All the skills that we need to develop, we need to like, there's so many
Yes.
contents on YouTube, and I've
Yeah.
seen like bookkeepers doing their videos from there because I checked prior to this meeting. Or do
Mm-hmm.
you suggest that we go to
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's
station
a
where
lot of learning. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you for your question, Kat. Yeah, there's a lot of free learning resources online that you mentioned YouTube, where you can find beginner lessons on bookkeeping, accounting basics, or tutorials on tools like Excel or accounting software like QuickBooks and Xero. But you mentioned, um, like there's a lot of when you search QuickBooks online, there's a lot of results, right? In the search. But you can also use or you can also learn directly from the accounting software platforms, which is, let's say, for example, QuickBooks and Xero. QuickBooks Online provides a free use of like a free sample company. If you will create a QuickBooks Online accountant, if you will search, let me try to search it because I want to share it to um like QuickBooks Online accountant. There you go. So this is I will send the link to you, Kat, and then maybe you can also share it to others, to the participants today. This is QuickBooks Online Accountant. You can sign up for free and then you can learn, you can use the free sample company. And then maybe you can search Hector Garcia in YouTube. Hector Garcia explains a lot of things about QuickBooks that you can learn. Um, and then it's very basic. So maybe you can start by signing up QuickBooks on an accountant and then use the sample company as your starting point to use QuickBooks Online. Like it's free. No fee. You don't need to subscribe or you don't need to pay for this um for signing up for this QuickBooks Online accountant. Yeah.
I see somebody's raised their hand. Um,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Um,
Yeah, Urbana.
Urbana.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, you
Yes,
can.
hello. Yes, hello. Can you hear me? So,
Yes.
just want to ask first, if you won't mind, how long have you been in the industry doing virtual bookkeeping?
I started 2019, so almost 7 years now.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
it's from you've experienced a lot from the pre-pandemic to pandemic to post-pandemic.
Yes, correct.
If I will going, would like to ask, looking for the future as we now everyone knows the AI and innovations in this industry is very much when you call it this, it's a very fast paced innovation. With the use of AI, this kind of business and freelancing activity is very much threatened, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
In your perspective and future analysis and your past experiences, can you give us a little bit of hint, if ever, of what are you looking for in the future of this career?
Yeah. Well, yeah, let me try to answer that. But yeah, thank you for your question. Well, that's actually one of the questions that is becoming very common today. Like, will AI replace virtual bookkeepers? Well, it's a valid concern, especially with the rise of new technologies, right? The honest answer is AI will not completely replace bookkeepers, but it will change how bookkeeping work is done. So let me explain. Today, many accounting tools already use automation. For example, some systems can automatically categorize transactions. Some systems suggest expense categories. That's what QuickBooks Online do. It helps the bookkeeper. Like it changes how bookkeeping work is done. It generates, like AI can generate, or some systems can generate basic financial reports. So yes, some repetitive and manual tasks in bookkeeping are becoming automated. However, there are still very important things that AI cannot fully replace. For example, um, understanding the context of a business, making judgment on unusual transactions. AI cannot ask the client, what kind of transaction is this? Or communicating with business owners, or explaining financial information in a simple way, providing insights and recommendations. So business owners don't just need the data. They, j- they don't just need the data. They need clarity and understanding. And that is where human bookkeepers remain very valuable. So I hope I answered your question. Yeah, AI is helpful, um, but it will not completely replace the bookkeepers. But it changes how bookkeeping work is done. It's helpful, yes.
Yes, thank you. It's very insightful of your answer, and it really helps us on how we are going to navigate really on what's coming next. So, as
Mm,
we all know, your presentation is about starting. But while we start, we really need also to look ahead. So, because this kind of industry is really moving fast. So, if we
yes.
are just stepping right now, but then we don't really have the alignment on what's coming next, then
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be outperformed by many other many people that were going to be using AI efficiently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think your answer really helps us to understand that we also need to incorporate AI
Yes.
in as we delve in this kind of industry, because that
Yes.
will be our advantage, our tool
Mm-hmm.
for the coming years to come. And also, I really like your answer about having to translate. So we as bookkeepers are not really just encoders, because AI can do encoding in the next coming years, but we can be the financial translator of
Correct.
business owners that are not just that they don't have enough time to really understand their papers or where their money goes, right? So
Yes.
we can be the advisor that the AI will be lacking. So
Yes.
I think that
Correct.
will be the positioning of the future bookkeeping business that
Mm-hmm.
we are looking forward, right? So
Yes.
thank you for your answer.
Thank you, Urbano. In addition to that, I also um like to answer that, like you mentioned, it's a threat. So instead of thinking AI as a threat, it's better to see it as a tool. AI can actually help bookkeepers. Like Anita mentioned, I agree AI helps a lot with this. Yes. Actually, QuickBooks Online uses AI. Like QuickBooks can categorize transactions automatically. It's AI, right? It it minimizes the work of a bookkeeper. Like AI actually, like it work faster. It helps bookkeeper work faster. AI reduces manual work. AI improves accuracy. AI handles more clients. So it helps us handle more clients. Well, in fact, bookkeepers who learn how to use technology effectively can become even more productive and valuable. Yeah, AI makes the task easier for bookkeepers. So thank you for opening that question in our mind. It's really helpful, and I hope everyone who also think AI as threat. Mm-hmm.
Jane, I have a quick question. This is
Yeah.
kind of a program question. I'm switching now. In fact, I'm in the process now to switch from QuickBooks Online to Xero. And I just wonder what you think about those two programs because I personally now am really enjoying Xero. I think Xero is a great program, very intuitive, easy to learn. I felt like their
Mm-hmm.
support was really good, where I always feel like QuickBooks is very cumbersome, harder to learn, quite a bit more difficult. I've always had a harder time with it. I just wonder if you had any thoughts on between those two programs, and if someone was starting new, maybe they could start on one of them versus another. And if one is easier to learn versus the other, is wondering just what you thought on that.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you for that question, Anita. Um, well, when it comes to being user-friendly, both QuickBooks and Xero are cloud-based accounting software, and both are widely used by businesses like around the world. They are both designed to be user-friendly, but they have different styles. So I agree with you. Xero is easier for beginners. Xero is known for having a like clean and simple interface. The dashboard is easy to navigate and the layout is very straightforward. And because of this, many beginners find Xero easier to learn at the start, especially if they have no accounting background. So you can think of Xero as simple, clean, and beginner friendly, while QuickBooks is more guided but more features. QuickBooks, on the other hand, is also user-friendly, but in a different way. It provides guided setup and more built-in instructions, which can help beginners step by step. But because it has more features and options, the dashboard can sometimes feel a bit crowded or overwhelming at first. So maybe you can think of QuickBooks as more powerful, but slightly more complex at the beginning. So yeah, just simple comparison. Xero, it's easier to learn, simpler interface, while QuickBooks is more features, slightly steeper learning curve.
And Zero is actually cheaper and it actually supports multi-currencies. So
Mm-hmm.
if
Yes.
you're a company working in multi-currencies, Zero supports lots and lots of multi-currencies, which is an advantage where QuickBooks has that, but it's very expensive.
Mhm. I
So
agree.
if
Well,
anyone's looking at that for clients too, that's also a suggestion
mm-hmm.
between the two. I actually went on AI and asked AI about it, and AI recommended Zero. So that's how I learned about
Mm-hmm.
Zero. So
Yeah.
AI works.
Yes. So also, QuickBooks can also handle multi-currency for that.
Yeah, but
Thank
it's
you,
more
Anita.
expensive. It's quite a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit more expensive. The multi-currency features on QuickBooks are quite a bit more. And so
Mm-hmm.
Zero for what Zero offers is a better program. If you had
Mm-hmm.
clients that were looking for something more economical with multi-currency, I think Zero is a more economical program.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, both tools are good, but yeah, it depends on our preference. Thank you, Anita.
So there's a couple questions there. Where do you go to look
Mm-hmm.
for clients? Somebody asked, I haven't tried Zero. Can they balance the sheets automatically? And I said, yes, has to be reconciled. Everything has to be reconciled in accounting. And where do you go to look for clients? I think you talked a bit about that already, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah.
mentioned go to Upwork and several other places. Will
Yeah. Online jobs. If you're in the Philippines, you can find clients in online jobs.ph. Also Upwork, like in Facebook. There's also you can also join different groups in Facebook. There's a lot of business owners looking for bookkeepers there. But I found my clients in onlinejobs.ph. I hope that helps. Yeah, what
Great. Well, I think we're
else?
about an hour now, right? So,
Yes.
Catherine, do you have anything else or?
Yeah, thank you. Um, what about the rest? Do you have other questions or clarification you want to ask our speaker before we end our session tonight? Thank you, Jane. So far, it has been very helpful and very insightful.
Well, thank you for this opportunity.
What about for the rest? If they have other questions.
Yeah, I see this question. I haven't tried, Mikey said, I haven't tried QuickBooks or Zero. Can AI balances the sheets automatically? Just a thought. Well, AI and accounting software like QuickBooks or Zero can assist in bookkeeping, but they do not fully replace the work of a bookkeeper, like balances the sheet. They can help with things like automatically importing bank transactions, suggesting categories for expenses. So in a way, yes, the system helps keep records organized and closer closer to becoming or to being balanced. But the important part, AI does not fully balance the books on its own. Yeah. Okay. So another question, how do you handle mistake in bookkeeping work? Right. So based on my experience, well, it's a very important question. Like all bookkeepers do mistakes. All of us do mistakes. But the important is we know how to correct it. Because in bookkeeping, mistakes can happen, especially when you are still learning. The key is not to avoid mistakes completely, but to know how to handle them properly and responsibly. First, when I notice a mistake, I don't ignore it. I immediately review the transaction and try to understand what went wrong. So let's say, for example, was it categorized incorrectly? Was it duplicated? Was there missing information? And then second, I verify the correct information. I check the supporting documents such as receipts, invoices, bank statements. This helps make sure that the correction I will make is accurate. The third is um, I correct the entry properly once I have the correct data. So in bookkeeping systems like QuickBooks or Zero, we don't just delete entries without tracking. It's important. So instead, we either edit the transaction properly or create adjusting entries if needed. This keeps the records clean and traceable. Fourth, um, so if the mistake is significant, like if it's material, I inform the client. So let's say I incorrectly input the sales when I am filing the sales tax return. So we need to inform the client because the sales tax is understated. Like instead of this number, I filed this number. So transparency is very important. We need to inform the client if it's significant, if it's material. But if it's something that you can correct right away, then you can do it. So maybe you can explain to client what happened, what I did to fix it, and how to avoid it in the future. Not just informing the client, I was wrong, I did a mistake, just that. So clients hate clients hate that. We need to have the solution. So explain to the client what happened, what you did to fix it, and how to avoid it in the future. This builds trust with the client. And finally, um, I improve my process. So every mistake is a learning opportunity. So I ask myself, how can I prevent this from happening again? So what I did is um I created like a notes to myself. I have I have this notes, I have my checklist, and then I double check entries. Then I improve my workflow. So in summary, mistakes are part of learning. So don't be afraid. Mistakes are part of learning. We are not perfect. What matters is how you handle them with accuracy, honesty, and responsibility. Because in bookkeeping, trust and reliability are very important. That's important to the client. I hope I answered your question. Um, okay, so what is the right rate for the beginners? Question from Sister Monasilio. Well, that's a very common question for beginners. How much should I charge as a virtual bookkeeper? So let me give you a practical and realistic answer for that. When I started, my rate is 20,000 pesos. It's $400, I think. During that time, the exchange rate is 50 pesos per dollar. So that's like 2.5 per hour, $2.5 per hour. And then I realized along the way, my rate is too low. So to answer your question, first is there is no single perfect rate, especially when you are just starting. Your rate will depend on your experience first, your experience, your confidence, the complexity of the client's business, and the services you offer. So those are the four areas that you need to consider when giving your rate. But to give you a starting point, for beginners, you can start with a monthly package instead of hourly rates. A typical beginner rate can be around like 100 to $300 per client per month. But again, it really depends on the on the complexity of the business and your experience. If you have more experience, and you can charge more. So, and then if you prefer hourly, beginner rates may range from $4 up to $8 per hour, and depending on your location and confidence level again. So, yeah, many bookkeepers, especially beginners, make the mistake of charging too low because they feel inexperienced. But remember, even a even as a beginner, you are still providing value by helping business owners stay organized. So consider that as yeah, as value for yourself. Yeah, as you gain experience, your rate should also increase. I hope I answered your question. Okay, so another question. Do we still have time, Sister Kat?
Maybe those last two questions from Mickey, Francisco, and Philip. Since you're
Okay.
also doing online training, can we contact you directly if you want to learn more or enroll in your program? And also the following question after that.
Okay. Yeah, for Mickey, since you are also doing online training. Yes, I also do online training. If you will search in Facebook, Filipino Virtual Bookkeepers, I conduct one-on-one coaching. You can contact the page if you want to learn the QuickBooks Online. I focus on QuickBooks Online right now. So it's more on giving you the learning and the experience you need to become a virtual bookkeeper. Yeah, so you can contact the Filipino Virtual Bookkeepers page. Thank you, Mickey. From Philip, asking on behalf of bookkeeper, um, would you recommend newbies take TASDA Bookkeeping NC3 course? What credentials does clients look for? Okay, so good question. Yes, the answer is yes, but it's optional and not required. Again, I mentioned earlier, certificates, yes, it's helpful. It's yeah, like plus points, or you if you have a diploma or certificates, is good option for bookkeepers. Taking TASDA, bookkeeping NC3, is a good option for for beginners, but it is not required to become a virtual bookkeeper. um, because again, clients focus on experience. So the course from TESDA is designed to teach recording transactions, preparing financial reports, basic accounting process. So yes, it's helpful because it's your starting point. If you want to learn, if you don't have the knowledge in the bookkeeping yet, yes, you can enroll in TESDA because it will give you the certificate and then the knowledge on how to do the bookkeeping. But I think TESDA is not like it's not QuickBooks Online. It's very manual, like the knowledge on doing the bookkeeping. So yes, the answer is yes, but it's not required. Like it's optional. Um, yeah, I think there's no question. There's no more question. Sister Kat,
Okay, thank you, Sister Jane. Thank you for entertaining
thank
all
you
of our
everyone.
questions. We appreciate so much for sharing your experience and expertise to all of us, beginners and wannabes, wannabe bookkeepers. It's been very insightful, and so you're giving us insight on our next few steps. If we're interested to pursue this career and then eventually become a work from home business. So, Anita, do you have anything else to say before we close it with a closing prayer tonight?
Just my other thing I want to say is that we have these boot camps once a quarter. So since you're on the list, I'll be sending them out. The next one will be together with Cambodia. They'll pick a speaker, and it's always in English. And these are great ways for you to learn for an hour once a quarter and learn something new. We'll probably have some stuff this year on AI. I have last year we had somebody come in from Microsoft Copilot talk about AI. So these are all great skills for you to have and learn. It's, whether it's bookkeeping or whatever you're looking to do. So please join the rest of our boot camps because it's a great way to learn new things.
Yes, yes, I agree with Anita. So this is a great opportunity. Thank you, Sister Jane, for being so generous, and um, we will pursue this for those of us who are interested. So anyway, to close this, we will by the way, we have, as Anita mentioned in the chat, there's a recording for this meeting. We will send it out also later after this meeting for those who have missed it. And for those who want to review back on the slides that Sister Jane has presented. And so to close, I actually reached out to Sister Becca for the closing prayer, but she still hasn't read the message.
If I could make another quick announcement, one of the things we're looking to do for the Management Society is to set up associations, like with different careers. So if there was 15 or 20 people that were virtual bookkeepers that wanted to join together in an association, we could work with that. If you guys were interested in that, talk to Catherine. Catherine, get in touch with me, or you could talk to me directly. You have my email. And, this way, you guys could all support each other that are looking to do this. and you could join together and bring speakers in and talk about it and work together and do some training. And, it could be a great way to help each other out, right? Through an association. So that's one thing that the Management Society is looking to do. And we're going to start it first in the Philippines. But, of course, virtual bookkeeping could be a great way to everyone join together and work together. Okay?
Yes, thank you, Anita, for mentioning that. And Spencer asked, is that free of charge? Yes, of course.
Yes, yes. Everything we do is free of charge for the Management Society. So, that's why I say join and be with us. And one of the advantages is if we do virtual bookkeeping, you can maybe bring somebody else from, the US. We can maybe help you get some speakers from, BYU Hawaii or BYU or other places to, speak to you guys about accounting. So that would be one of the advantages of having a type of virtual bookkeeping association. So those of you that are interested, maybe talk to me. I'll put you in touch with Dondi, who is helping run that with Chet. I think Chet had to leave, and we can maybe get you guys kind of set up in an association. So we're working on that right now. So if you email me some information, those that are interested, and we can start doing that. And Jane, hopefully you'd like to be part of that too. We'd love to have everyone join. Okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
so a
thank
lot
you,
are
Anita.
already. Yes, Jane, sorry, you were saying something.
Nah, no, okay. I was saying, yeah, I'm happy to join. Thank you, Anita.
You're
Yeah,
what?
a lot
Sorry,
of
what? Sorry? What? Love to join? Okay. Yeah, I
yeah,
think it
Yeah.
could be,
a lot of
a professional association would be good among bookkeepers, right?
correct. And a lot are mentioning here in the chat that they're interested to join. Yeah, I also
Great.
would like to mention that this is really a profitable career, especially if you turn it into a business. Your income could easily grow to like in the Philippine rate because US dollar is obviously higher than the Philippine money. So the income could easily, I checked online and the income rates for those who handle multiple clients are in the six-figure income salary or range. So it's very good for everyone who's here. It's a good opportunity for all of us. So yeah, so it should be interesting for all of us. Um,
Yeah, and I think an association helps keep you training, keeps you on top of stuff. Because
correct,
one of the things about this that I think Jane mentions is the programs are always changing. So this
correct,
is a career where you have to constantly change with programs.
correct.
Right, Jane? Is that correct or not?
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm.
So you
So
need help.
yeah. Please reach out to any of us so we can organize that one, maybe a second training for this bookkeeping related to bookkeeping can be done, and Anita will help us with that.
Yes, and I will send an email, Catherine, to Dondi and Chet, and I will CC you on it. And so you guys could maybe get started on that. Okay?
All right.